are 2 days away, less than 48 hours away from Texas and Michigan. The big game that we've been talking about all year long in 2024 is about to go down. Super excited. I'm Jeff Ketchum. That is Chad Hastings. Like, comment, subscribe to the page. You know the drill. Just click some buttons. Make us happy. Notifications and subscriptions matter. We do appreciate it, and we do appreciate everybody that jumps into the Specs chat and does a super chat here and there. You can just participate, whatever the case may be. We do appreciate it. And oh, by the way, this video brought to you by the amazing people at Texas Card House, the #1 place in the state of Texas to get your card playing game on. I've been thinking about tomorrow night, the location in Spring. Do I go play the tournament, Chad? Because if I do really well, it would mean playing until about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Careful.
Yes.
Kegs and eggs in Ann Arbor. Kegs and eggs in Ann Arbor. Game days there. Big noon kickoff is the Urban and Nick Saban are going to be in the same place. This happens very rarely.
It feels like if I were to go play at the Texas Card House in Spring tomorrow, and did well, that I would just be a zombie all day for the Michigan game. Can I really afford to do that? And there's a part of me that's like, yeah.
Hey, look, as long as you'd still have the energy for post game, if Texas does what you think they're going to do and they control Michigan and they get a big win, I just don't want you in the post game going, I guess I was right, guys.
Does Ketch have COVID again?
Oh.
Did Ketch get rebound COVID?
Yeah, exactly. That's all we don't need. So you know you better than we know you. Just make sure.
I'm just telling you, like, I didn't get to play last week because of COVID, and I got the itch. But I know that if I do what I think I can do, it'll be 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll still be playing cards, and 11 o'clock comes fast at that point. Yep. Look, guys, a lot of things going on today. Steve Sarkisian had his Thursday media briefing. We'll get into that in a little bit. I thought we should probably lead off with a little bit of recruiting discussion, Chad.
Yeah, you got me interested. You got me intrigued with this lead in. So do tell.
Well, so yesterday I got back from. I wasn't on the show yesterday. Sorry about that. Although apparently you don't need me because the show performed really, really well, and to hell with me in my role, I suppose.
They get excited about Anwar sometimes.
They do.
They like the Unk Hump Wednesdays that we're starting to develop naturally. They're enjoying that.
Unk. I'm going to pretend that just didn't get. I love that you had the confidence to even say that out loud.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if love's the right word.
Anwar is like, whoa. I didn't know you were an uncle, Chad. I want to be the hunk in the hunk unk.
No. You misheard. Unk hump, as in hump day.
Oh, I thought you said unk and hunk.
Like an unk hump day. Like Unk joins us. Hunk. The Unk joins us on Wednesday. He's done it the last couple Wednesdays. And we joked yesterday that he's just going to plan on doing it every Wednesday now.
Well, anyway.
Yeah. Please continue. Texas recruiting 2025.
So yesterday, I got home, I got online, and the algorithm for Twitter, Jesus, I haven't even started smoking yet. And it hit me with this. There's a kid out of Georgia named Joseph Mabachu, Mabachu. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. He's teammates with Nick Brooks. He's a defensive tackle. He's committed to Florida. And there was a Texas is going all out to go get Joseph Mabachu. And I was like, I reached out to Jason and I was like, we've reported on this kid, right? And he was like, oh, yeah, no, Texas offered him like 3 weeks ago. He and 3 other defensive tackles. He's going to come in for a Texas visit on the 21st.
Yeah. Jason mentioned him in the recruiting hour this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I didn't watch. Which apparently I should. And I was like, I work. I do other things too. So just for the record. But I was thinking, he and I were just having a conversation about this kid because it had been reported for a couple of weeks now that Texas had offered, that he was going to come in and take a visit. He's visiting Texas on the 21st. He's visiting Alabama on the 28th. He's visiting Georgia on the 5th. He's visiting USC on the 12th. My man is taking visits all over the place. He's going to Auburn this weekend. And so I was like, okay, well, I didn't realize that this Florida commitment was this all in, but I started thinking about it and I was like, yeah, man, Texas is really still going hardcore off of the defense. When Anwar asked Sark last week, maybe, about you guys are used to working with an 85-man scholarship limit. Looks like it's going to be 105 by the time next season kicks in. Have you started to adjust? And we know that Texas is sitting right around 20. They'd probably like to go up to 25. We know that includes Michael Terry. That gets them to 20. And then, defensive tackle, Joseph Mabachu, defensive tackle, edge guys. We talk about Javian Hilson. And then I just started thinking about it, and I was like, the rest of the year is only about defense. I don't know, other than Michael Terry, that there's even anybody on the offensive side of the ball for the rest of the 2025 recruiting class that they're still making offers to, that they're trying to squeeze into a class. And really, they're not trying to squeeze into anything. I can rattle off almost 20 names on the defensive side of the ball at positions all over the place that they're going to try to flip guys. They're trying to bring guys in. Like the rest of this year, it feels like they feel like offense is set. They got their quarterback in KJ Lacey. There's not going to be anybody else. They've got a couple of running backs. And look, there's a world out there where maybe they would take a flyer on a running back late if for some reason they're like, well, you know what? It turns out we're going to lose Jaden Blue to the NFL draft, so maybe we need one more. But they've got 2 committed. They're scheduled, even if Blue goes pro, to have 6 on scholarship next year. I don't think they're doing anything else at running back. Plus, the running back position is so deep in the state of Texas in 2026 that it may be they're loading up to try to go get a real nationally elite running back out of that class. Wide receiver, Michael Terry is this jack of all trades that we know they're still recruiting. And I see the super chats, and we'll get to those in just a second. I just wanted to kind of finish what we were teasing and what we were talking about. And I think this is important, Chad, because I don't think we've really just outlined this on Orange Bloods even. You look at the tight end position. Again, Michael Terry is this jack of all trades player that is the lone offensive guy that they're still recruiting. Then you look at the offensive line, and they're at 5. And what have I said on this show? I don't think there's a big, like, they're not going after Fasusi in a we're going to flip you at all costs attitude. I got the message before Fasusi even committed, okay, y'all don't want to spend the money that it would take to get Fasusi. Now, is that a white flag in a battle they were already going to lose? So, we've just decided not to break out our checkbook and they can have him. There's a lot of ways to spin that Fasusi conversation, but I don't know that they're really going back in on him. So suddenly you just stop and you think about it, and it's like Michael Terry is the guy. And then everything else they're doing right now for 2025 is defense. It's D-tackle, it's edge, it's linebacker, it's in the secondary. They'll take any and all guys. But I'm just letting you know right now, September, what the hell is it, the 5th today? We've got October, November, December. We've got 3 months until signing day. Whatever Texas does beyond Michael Terry in 2025 for the next 3 months, defense. And I just thought, fascinating that they're kind of there. That's because I don't think we think of, well, that makes sense because they haven't recruited the defensive side of the ball well. That's not true at all. They've I won't say they've recruited defense as well as offense because you maybe wouldn't go quite that far. The numbers don't. I think it's like 11 offensive super blue chips and 9 defense. I mean, there's an edge offensively, but it's not overwhelming. But yet here we go to the finish line in 2025, and it just feels like everything that's left to do is on that side of the ball. And it's a whole lot of we're going to flip this guy. We're bringing this guy in from out of state. We're making new offers. They are desperate to do more on defense. And I think all you have to do is look at the activity from the last couple of weeks. Every new offer is defense. It's Joseph Mabachu. It's like that guy wasn't on the radar 2 months ago, and now he's coming in for a visit. Now he's teammates with a guy who's now committed. It's just really interesting that it's so overwhelmingly one-sided with regards to needs that they want to fill the rest of the way.
Catch, to your point, in the recruiting hour this week, Jason had 13 names of sort of flips to watch for, guys that are not committed but might be flips. 11 of the 13 were defensive. It was Fasusi, Decorian Moore, and 11 defensive guys.
And I don't know how realistic the Fasusi, Decorian Moore stuff even is. I think we think that because it's like we know that Texas finished second or third, depending on – there's some people that think that A&M actually finished second for Fasusi. So
right.
I just don't know that there's a great desire. They'd take those guys if they wanted to come. But I don't know that they want to be going in with 1.5, 1.6, 1.7. Who the hell knows what it would take? You'd have to do more than they're already getting. And that's probably, like for a guy like Decorian Moore, that would be in the territory of twice the amount of money that you're paying anybody on the Texas roster right now in terms of NIL. We know that the $750,000 mark is the ballpark. That's about as far as they've kind of gone with all of their guys. You pick one, Kelvin Banks, that's kind of where that sits and rests. And they've got a lot of guys that are making around that kind of money. And I think Texas showed with Decorian Moore that there would be a willingness. Okay, we know that at some point we're going to have to pay a guy $1 million, which means maybe next year we've got to pay 15 guys $1 million. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing, that if you paid Decorian Moore $1 million, that's cool. Everybody in that locker room's like, yeah, I'm getting mine. That's the new bar. So that will eventually take place. And I think you'll see where Ohio State has been claiming out loud. It's so funny how much of this schools either want to make this really private and they don't want to release the details, or there are some schools who are like, let us tell you how many guys are making $1 million, which is kind of Ohio State. And I think Texas will get there, but I don't think they're going to do it to get Decorian Moore. It feels like you'd have to go about $1.5 million. And that might cost you French or Lockett, that they might look at that and go, okay, I'm good with one other 5-star receiver in this class, but do I really want Decorian? Do I really want that? You can make the case that they'll never say it publicly, but deep down those guys like being the faces of the wide receiver position in this class. And if Decorian Moore showed up, you're kind of the B side. He gets to be the A side, and you get to be the guy that is the second banana to him. So I think it might actually be 11-0, that they're too pitty offensive flip ideas. But in reality, I don't think there's a whole lot going on there right now, and I don't think there will be. And I think they're telling us with every new offer, Kenny Baker goes on the road and hits the Southeast this week. You're not hearing like, Chris Jackson's going to California this week to find a wide receiver. It's not – all the coaches are recruiting, but it feels like certain coaches and their trips are a little more emphasized than others. And they're telling us with their actions what's left to happen.
Catch, these 2 super chats are game related.
Bring it on.
Okay. All right. We'll jump in here. Both sides of the argument here. Michael, $9.99 super chat. Volleyball clap for Chad, the only one talking sense yesterday. Anwar went full. Quinn won't have another bad game in his career from 2 years ago. He said the defending champs, have 0% chance.
No, he did not say that.
Yes, he did.
He said Michigan has 0% chance of winning the game?
Yeah, I stopped him and I said, first off, I asked if Texas fans would take a 2-point win, and he said yes. And then later, just to check, I said, does Michigan have a chance to win this game? And he thought for 5 seconds and then said no.
He did not.
He did.
Anwar, speak for yourself.
He did. He thinks they have no chance. He went on a long Eminem-styled, this is his term, Eminem-styled rant to eviscerate me. He said R.I.P. Chad at the beginning and laid out the reasons why I was silly to even think that this game could be close. And he did say Michigan has no chance to win it.
But if you specifically said, math it out for me. Mm-hmm. No chance doesn't mean that you think they have not even a 0.2 chance.
Right, exactly. I asked, do they have a chance to win?
But surely he didn't think about it so literally that he won't even give them at home a 1% chance.
I was trying to get him to give them that, and he wouldn't do it. He would not do it.
Oh, to be fair, just saying they have a 0% chance is actually less insulting to say, okay, Chad, 2. They had 2%.
Well, let's see. Is this insulting? Catch from Jose. Catch, does Texas get the over in the game on their own?
Damn, Jose.
There it is. There's your theme of
What's
the week.
What's the over?
42.5.
No, they don't.
Oh, how dare you? How dare you? By the way, Catch, I want to give Jamie credit because I believe Jamie is right. Double check your screen. I believe your screen has flipped. They're used to seeing your glasses lean one way, and they're leaning the other way. So, no, not your glasses, the screen. I think you've got your screen flipped.
Like I don't know what that even means.
Like you need to go to your settings and see if on your video settings and like unmirror your screen or mirror your screen.
A weird mirror thing? Okay, hold on.
Yeah, you just flipped it. Your chair is normally the other side. I believe they are correct.
Okay.
Because the sun is usually coming from the other side. I think Jamie's. Yep, that's it. Very good. Thank you, Jamie. We appreciate you. That is the more normal sun.
Are you guys freaked out by the mirror?
They see things, man. They see things. Now, Catch, on the other side of the similar argument, Oscar from UT with $10 in a super chat says, Chad, F that respect for Michigan. That's the team's job. We're fans. Our opinion shouldn't affect the game. If the coach ain't going to get them ready, ain't got them ready, then you get what you got at A&M. Sorry, Chad. Horns by a million. Horns by a million.
Never before has a parentheses in a super chat ever done more and less at the same time.
All lowercase letters. Sorry, Chad. Sorry, Chad. Lowercase.
I have done, except for today, first 3 days of this week, I did radio spots somewhere in Michigan every day this week. I've kind of perfected the Michigan pregame. And I've actually talked about this game in a way, by the way, the mailman is at the front door, so there could be a chance of apocalyptic dogs, just FYI.
Fair enough.
Please go away, Mr. Mailman, and don't ring the doorbell or anything like that. The thing that Michigan fans love to hear me say that I think at this point, 100% agree with, and this would include like Michigan-based interview hosts as well. Texas is getting Michigan at the right time. That This Michigan team is going to be whatever it's going to be at some point this season. But it's probably not now. That when you're breaking in a quarterback who's a former walk-on and this is his second career start and it's this level of a game, that guy in week 10 is going to be a better player than he is in week 2. He just is. So whatever version of Michigan Texas gets this week, it's the best version of Michigan that they'll get, that they could get at any point this season, barring injuries, right? Like this, let's say Davis Warren is legitimately the starting quarterback and kind of asserts himself. And then in week 7, he gets hurt, and then Orji comes in and he's the backup. And it's just clear, like, okay, Orji is the number 2. Barring injuries, Texas is getting Michigan perfect time on the schedule. At no point the rest of the season is the quarterback edge that Michigan will play in a game more one-sided for another team. They all agree with that. Every Michigan person I've spoken with this week has said, Quinn Ewers is pretty good, man. None of them have said, I think Quinn Ewers is the best player in college football. All of them have said, yeah, man, Quinn's good. He's really good. There's an amount of respect that the Michigan side has for the Texas quarterback position that nobody at Texas has for Michigan. It's unproven. A week ago, he didn't look Quinn Ewers ready. So anybody out there that's like, Texas, you're not giving Michigan enough respect, I can't stress enough. Texas has a one-sided advantage at the most important position on the field, and that's never insignificant. Never. Think back to the last time Texas lost a football game. It wasn't that long ago. It was a little bit more than 9 months. What happened that night? Washington had what ended up being a significant quarterback edge that, quite frankly, Michael Penix played one of the games of his life. That's how good he was. And Texas got kind of a mediocre at best performance over 4 quarters from Quinn Ewers. Now, was there, did he have some drops? Did the running backs fumble? And, no, things happened that weren't just Quinn's fault. But at the end of the day, big quarterback advantage. It matters in these games. So I think anytime you hear any of us that are picking Texas to win this game by, let's say, double digits, the foundation of that opinion is bathing. It's soaking wet in what we think the quarterback matchup in this game means. I mean, we did the Prize Pick show, Chad, an hour ago. Mm-hmm. And this even came up in Sarkisian's media availability. I guess we did the Prize Pick show 2 hours ago, and an hour ago was Sarkisian. And they were asking Sarkisian, I guess you're expecting Orji to play. At one point on the Prize Pick show, the conversation among the Orange Bloods panelists, not really me, by the way, so it would have been Jason, Alex, and Anwar, was, well, I think Orji's going to play more in this game than Texas fans probably think. That they didn't show him last week out of we're hiding things, and that they're so unsettled at the quarterback position that he will be a steady curveball as opposed to like, hey, they brought in a wildcat formation for a series. Like it more so that there's a thought that could be part of what Michigan's overall offensive game plan is. That is so smoke and mirrors. What's your plan at quarterback? Well, we're going to rotate them in and try to hit them with the run, and then we'll bring the passing guy in. What? That does not sound like a play. That sounds like kind of what I described with Chance Mock and Vince Young in the 2003 OU game. It's like, what's the game plan? Well, we don't really know like what we're trying to accomplish. We're just going to go out there and see what happens. Okay. Now, beyond that, I do think Texas has an edge in coaching at this point that Sharon Moore hasn't proven as a head coach that he can do this. I think both teams have actually excellent defenses. The pathway, though, Chad, where Anwar has to leave a percentage available, is that if Michigan's able to create points offensively or defensively, that's the kind of thing that can change this outcome of a game. So it's like Michigan wins 28-27. Well, how did they get to 28? They had a punt return for a touchdown, and Will Johnson had a pick six. It's like, oh, so the offense only needed to score 14. That's not an unrealistic pathway. It may not be likely, but it's not unrealistic. So I think, Anwar, if you're out there, 15% chance.
It's a good choice.
Go with 15%.
Like that. Oscar with another $10 super chat. Thank you, Oscar, for adding on. Also, my previous chat doesn't mean Michigan can't win it, but UT fans should be unapologetic with how they feel. When's the last time they had a team to be this excited for?
2005. Well, no, 2009.
I mean, it's fair. It's fair. That doesn't mean you have to go into a game like this and just assume that it's like 42-0.
Well, yeah, Texas made the playoffs a year ago, and they were in a fourth quarter battle with Wyoming. That happened.
Yeah, I don't know. But again, Oscar, it is the theme of the week, and I've been saying all week, y'all need to enjoy this. Y'all need to bask in it. Now, it's up to you to figure out how disappointed to be if you don't get it. Like, if you should sign up for a 5-point win right now. If I hand you 15-10, if I handed you 15-10 Texas and you turn back to me and go, nah, Chad, I'll take what I get. I think we're going to whip them. I think you're insane to do that. As long as you'll sign up for the win, and then but you might have to qualify a win, which is weird because then you'll be like, wait a minute, we didn't whip them like we thought we were going to whip them.
I think this is really compounded by the fact that Vegas has Texas as a 7.5-point favorite.
Yeah. Oh, and that just shows you it's not just the feeling. People are putting their money on this idea. It went from 2.5 to 3 to 3.5 to 4.5 to 7.5. It might be 12 by kick. I mean,
on a neutral field, they're saying Texas on a neutral field is a double-digit favorite against a top 10 Michigan team.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy.
The thing is, woo, buddy, let me tell you. If you think Texas fans have been tough to deal with because of some growing arrogance this week.
Oh, God. If y'all are right, oh, dude, catch it. If you and everybody's right, and the only person who has to say they were wrong was me, oh, my God. Yeah, the ego level is headed to the stratosphere next week.
There's going to be a whole lot of Kobe, how's my ass taste?
No doubt.
And the thing is, if Texas wins by 5, nobody will be mad and call me out on Monday.
No.
What happened, Catch? You said they were going to win by 16.
Yeah, they'll get on you.
There might be a real Catch hater that would focus on, you're right, I didn't get the spread right. But believe me, I've been wrong so many times. I know how this works.
Yes, I'm sure there'll be no no fan's going to want to give credit for a close win when they're predicting a complete blowout.
But nobody's going to come in on Monday and be a miserable bastard and say, Chad, just so you know, yes, we won. But let's focus on the fact that they didn't win by 16, they only won by 5. That won't happen.
No, and I will get
what has to happen for there to be real egg on my face. The real egg on my face is if Michigan wins, and it won't be you guys that will remember this forever, because I'm the only one that really remembers in 2006 doing a radio interview, and it might have been with Chad because it was in the afternoon, it was local, it almost certainly had to be a show that Chad. Who were you co-hosting with in 2006?
2006 was Kevin Dunn.
I think it would have been me, you, and KD. And I went on the air and said that Texas was going to beat Texas A&M by 28 plus. And what happened? Not only did they not win the game, but that was the Cart McCoy game. That was Colt probably shouldn't have been on the field. And it really looked like by the end of the game, he shouldn't have been on the field. and guys were body slamming him to the ground, and it was hard to watch, and A&M won 12-7. And it's been 18 years, and nobody brings that up. I get 85%. I get it's Austin. I still get some old stuff, but nobody brings up 2006. I was still running Orange Bloods, so it's not like I wasn't on the internet yet. I said that out loud, and I'm the one 18 years later that doesn't forgive himself for missing it by such a wide degree.
Scott might have my favorite chat of the day. Has the defending champ ever lost the following year at home by 77 in a shutout? Scott, what's well asked. I'm going to go assume that's a no, but it is a wonderful question. It's not quite as wonderful as this, though. Jacko's back. $50 super chat. What's up, Jacko? We are going to find out Saturday if this Texas team is really different. I think that's a fair statement, I guess. Depends on what you mean by different. But, yeah, I guess.
Did last year's team not prove that, though? Are we still at a point where you – and, Chad, I will defer on this because this is probably a question better answered by someone of your ilk. And by ilk, I just mean if I stuck you with a pen, you wouldn't bleed out orange right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is Texas at a point in going to this game that there's a belief that Texas with the soft, it felt like last year pre-Alabama, it was like, this is the type of game that Texas always gets hyped up for. And then they lose it. And it's like, oh, same old Texas. So at the end of the season, they made the playoff. They lose to Washington, but nobody came out of that game thinking same old Texas. They don't have a strong chin. If they lose on Saturday, does that mean that they're faulty? I mean, on some level, I guess it does, right?
I think, yeah. I mean, if you're talking about a loss, again, that's why I said it depends on what Jacko means by different. Like, do you mean different like they whip Michigan? Do you mean different like they lose this game? Yeah, if they lost the game, we know the formula for how they would lose that game. Means Michigan ran the ball pretty well or really well. It means, again, the run defense wasn't what you thought it could be. Maybe the pass defense gives up some things. And maybe the offense doesn't just come out there and absolutely, storm all over Michigan. So, yeah, there'd be a little bit of a step back of, okay, reassess kind of where things are. Not that they're not good all of a sudden, but maybe they aren't, they're sitting 3 right now in the country. Just might mean they're not top 5 today. They might not be top 5 Saturday afternoon would be the feel for me.
Let me ask you a question. Sorry, I'm getting comfortable in my chair now that it's facing the correct direction.
Mm-hmm.
If we polled 100 SEC fans, so think of it as like the Heisman delegation where they try to spread it out into all of the regions equally. If we polled 100 SEC fans, how many of them this is Family Feud style?
Mm-hmm.
How many of the 100 picked Georgia as the best team in the SEC right now?
Out of 100 SEC fans, I'll be slightly different. 86?
I think it'd be higher.
Maybe 90?
I asked that because we did our Orange Bloods poll ranking the SEC teams today, and it was 6 for 6. All of us had Georgia in the number 1 spot.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like, God, if we had 100 people working at Orange Bloods right now, maybe there'd be a couple of Texas fans that would bow up and say, we're number 1, not Georgia. But it feels maybe as unanimous as it could get. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's 86%. But it feels like it's about as unanimous as it could be that right now, as of this very moment, Georgia is the best team in the SEC. Right? That's fair, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, so Texas is 3rd in the country.
Yep.
We, all 6 Orange Blood staffers, put Texas in the 2 spot.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like nationally, I don't want to put words in your mouth. So by all means, I feel like maybe the same 86, 80, I don't know. I don't know what that percentage is, but the overwhelming majority of the people polled would have Texas at 2.
Right.
Because that's where everybody kind of has them right now, right?
Yes. Or Vanderbilt, but yes, probably Texas.
Well, you're reading my mind maybe without even knowing where I'm going with this. Having seen the reaction to A&M has lost. Several Orange Bloods pollsters on our staff ranked A&M 13th in the SEC.
Yeah. Benefit of the doubt, the Aggies did not get from that group.
And look, LSU, I personally did not punish LSU for losing to USC, but there are some Orange Blood staff members that, let me look at it. Let me just make sure before I say what I'm about to say.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Jason has Mississippi State and Kentucky ranked ahead of LSU.
Okay.
I think that's bananas.
I kind of do too.
But there's a reaction to losing.
Sure.
Which leads me to the question of, if consensus number 2 in the SEC loses on Saturday to Michigan, next week, where is the overwhelming amount of people voting in this imaginary Family Feud style polling of SEC fans? Where's Texas in the SEC with a loss to Michigan? Do they get the A&M treatment and next week they're 9th? Like, what are you thinking?
No. Like 5 or 6.
So behind Alabama.
They'll slide down a little bit.
Behind Ole Miss.
Yes. Because Ole Miss will handle their business. They're playing a nobody.
Behind Tennessee?
Maybe. It depends on what Tennessee's doing this week. I can't remember who they're playing. Oh, no. You know what? Yes, because Tennessee's playing NC State in a ranked matchup, and they'll get a little love for that, and they're on the road doing it. So absolutely Tennessee would be ranked above Texas.
Missouri.
Maybe, because Missouri's playing dog crap non-conference too, and nobody notices that. But if they put up another big number, they'd be over Texas too. So that gets them at what, 6?
Oklahoma. I feel like that's your top 7.
Because OU may whip Houston.
And then after that, your Auburn, your Arkansas, your Kentucky, your A&M. You know what I mean? There's that drop.
Right.
So where's Texas in the 1 through 7 that includes Missouri, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Mississippi? A loss to Michigan in a power poll next week has them 7th?
Yeah, it'll knock them down there, 5, 6, 7, somewhere in that range. I thought you were going to the other side. I thought you were going to ask me if they beat Michigan and look good doing it, how many number 1 votes would they get? And I think that number will go up because Georgia's playing nobody and there's no line on the game. It's one of those awful non-conference games that nobody should be scheduling. And I think Texas will get a little. So let's say if it's 90 this week, Catch, I think if they beat Michigan and look good doing it, I think there might be some people. Let's say there might be 75, maybe it's 75 or 80 would say Georgia, but I'd say 10 of those people might swing over and say Texas is the best team I've seen because Michigan is certainly comparable to what Clemson put out there, and I even think Michigan might be better than Clemson, so I'm going to go with Texas. I can see that happening.
You literally, every once in a while, it's like you guys have done a show enough over the years. You guys are kind of connected in the brain because that was going to be that is the point. Those are the stakes in this game is that on one side if Texas covers and they win 30-22, there will be people on Monday who will say it won't be it won't be the consensus, but there will be a faction of people that say Texas is number 1 team in the SEC. They've got the best win, although the win over Clemson is really impressive. But maybe there will be that extreme, or they need to be behind Missouri, Tennessee, and Oklahoma in a ranking of SEC teams next week. That is the pendulum. It swings one way to maybe not just even number 1 in the SEC, but maybe they should be number 1 in the country. And who knows, maybe they get like 4 first-place votes. Or it swings back the other way, and they're 10th in the country and behind 6 other SEC teams.
Yeah. My bad for I rushed your point there. I'm sorry. Terrible.
No, you didn't. You made it. You literally got us there. You landed the plane, and I'm just pointing out, well done, Sully.
Wow. I do not deserve any comparison to that level of American hero. Good grief. Not at all.
All I did was land a plane.
Dude, that was what an amazing story that was.
A couple hundred lives.
And real quick, back to a guy we mentioned earlier. That, if I'm not mistaken, that was during a time when Kevin Dunn lived in New York. He was literally in New York as that story was happening, and all kinds of people had these crazy stories of like, at one point you just looked out in the river and there's just this plane just sitting in the river, and they're getting people out of this plane, and you're like, what the hell just happened? And that was Mr. Sully Sullenberger. One more chat I wanted to clear off is just 3513 from Longhorn Frenzy. Meat chicken.
Yeah.
As usual, I don't get some jokes. 3513 is Longhorn Frenzy's score. Thank you for that. If you want to get us a super chat, it will go right to the top of the list. And if y'all have been listening to us for a while now, you know one of the things pretty high on my list is some Deep Eddy vodka. In fact, I'm out of lime. I ran out of Deep Eddy vodka lime last night on the Outsiders show. I got to get stocked up on that. But if you haven't had some Deep Eddy vodka in a while, look at these cocktails. Look how beautiful. That Texas margarita there in the upper right, that is one of their new items, the Deep Eddy Original, the Deep Eddy Orange Vodka, and muddled cucumber. I had to look up what the word muddled meant when it came to drinks recently. Now I know. If you don't know, look it up. Go have some muddled cucumber. Refreshing as hell. That Texas margarita. There's some of the other cocktails we had out there last time we were there. Thursday through Sunday, there are your hours up there. They're ready to go for you. The Crimson Creek Smokehouse Barbecue. I made sure to double check on it. Make sure it was still great. It was fantastic. They have a queso that you can put chopped beef in. Oh my God, it's fantastic. Deep Eddy Vodka Tasting Room. Get out there to Dripping Springs and check them out. If you want to throw in your game predictions today, we can do that. We'll be doing that, I'm sure, the next couple days. Brian Jones coming up at 1:20 from CBS Sports. Oh, you know Brian is pumped this week, Catch. Get ready. The 2:30 CBS game. Iowa State at Iowa. Boom! They're going to need to get some.
Dude, he can't say it. They lost so big.
They're going to have to get some ephedra for Brian. He's going to have to go back to his days of taking like uppers or whatever he was taking back in the day to get going for a football game. Holy hell. Yeah, they got the Corn Bowl, Iowa State, Iowa as the 2:30 CBS game. But what we need to ask him about, Catch, is that whole CBS crew, they're all picking Texas, and Rick Neuheisel thinks they're going to whip Michigan. Like, there's certain people that you listen to where you're like, wait, hold on. This is normally the curmudgeon. This is normally the guy that backs off a little bit. He picked Texas to whip Michigan. So that's kind of an interesting indicator. We'll see what Brian thinks of that at 1.
Hey, I just clicked on a tweet by Rivals.
Yes.
This is a Rivals.com tweet that was made at 11:23. And they quote, I don't even know who this is. Okay. Apologies in advance. But they're quoting Caroline Fenton. So I got to look and see. You want to see who the hell that is?
You say you want me to look it up?
I mean, one of us can. I don't know who she is.
I got you. Caroline Fenton. Go ahead.
Quote, I think Texas is going to wax the floor with Michigan.
Wow. Caroline Fenton. Here she is. She is.
What does she do?
Caroline Fenton, talking ball and other things at Yahoo Sports and SiriusXM College Football.
Okay, so she's Yahoo Sports. Okay.
And then on her little picture here on Twitter, it says Cardinals/LSU enthusiast. I don't know which Cardinals that is. I guess it's Arizona, but
I was thinking St. Louis.
And then it says she's out of Nashville. So there you go. Yeah.
By the way, this is just completely random. I tend to find, and I think it started with Caroline Ingalls in Little House on the Prairie.
Yes.
I tend to find that Caroline's very underrated.
Really?
Yeah, like I feel like there aren't enough Carolines in the world. For
Now,
some
that's probably
reason, the world quit on Carolines.
kind of an old school name, yeah.
But I tend to find that Carolines are sneaky hot. Starting with Mrs. Ingalls in Little House on the Prairie.
Mm-hmm. I could agree with that.
I always felt like, Charles, you did good, my man.
Yeah, I could agree with you. One of my really good friends, but a girl I dated for a long time that went to UT.
You dated a Caroline.
I dated a Caroline. I'm still in contact with her. In fact, we had a nice meal while we were up in Dallas for SEC Media Days.
Well, I don't feel like I know a single Caroline, and I'm a little jealous of you.
Yeah. In fact, hers is extra fancy because it's pronounced Caroline, but she's Polish and it's spelled with a K at the beginning and an A at the end. It's fancy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Just so you know, I have all of my buy or sell questions. I know it's not time for buy or sell yet, but I officially actually had 6 buy or sell questions, and I had to get rid of a Quinn Ewers question because I want to ask a DJ Lagway Florida question.
I am so proud. And who's getting the start? You see it? Getting the start this week.
Like I said, I have a DJ Lagway Florida Gators buy or sell question that I just felt like needed to be in our conversation at some point before the Gators are played.
They're going to host the Aggies. They're going to come to Austin. So yeah, Florida's a team that a lot of folks in these parts are going to be keeping up with. Before we do anything else, we should all just sing it together. Thank you, Scott. Sweet Caroline. There it is. There it is. All right. We do not have any super chats right now. If you want to throw in a super chat, it'll go right to the top of the list. Catch. Why don't you tell the folks about we got a nice Rogue Shop comment from Anwar yesterday in your place. So if you'd like to talk Rogue at some point, you can. But why don't you tell them a little bit about My Perfect Franchise and what Andy can do for them in the world of, whatever they're interested in.
Does your life suck? Do you sit around daydreaming about shanking your boss? Do you feel like, you know what I need? I need a portfolio. And if I have a portfolio, obviously I'm not doing well enough with it because I got this boss that I hate. Well, diversify your portfolio. Improve your lot in life. Maybe put yourself into a position where you can be the boss and kick that other boss in the backside. Metaphorically, of course, no assault, supported here on this show. Reach out to Andy at myperfectfranchise.net. Call, text, fax. Although I don't have a fax number listed, so maybe don't fax. But email. Do any of those things. Reach out and just say, look, I heard Catch talking on Orange Bloods Live. Yes, help me. Help me. He will look at your profile. He'll look at your background. He'll look at what you do and help point you in the direction of the franchises you should be targeting that would be perfect for you. My Perfect Franchise. Do that today. Change your life and let Andy help do it for you.
If I was going to stab Catch, would it be like that? Or would it be more? No, I don't know. So,
I've watched episodes of Dexter that I feel like,
you
learn that they can tell if you're right or left-handed by the way.
Yes.
So I've always thought, you know what I got to do if I ever stab somebody? I got to go opposite hand.
You got to switch hands.
They'll be like, the guy we're looking for is 6'4" and left-handed.
What are you doing?
I had that thing coming from up here.
I'm practicing my left stab. Why? No reason.
No reason.
No reason at all. Catch, we got a super chat in from Michael. Thank you for $4.99, Michael. My biggest concern is the rat poison coming from every direction. UT showed up against Bama as the underdog. They need to not swallow that rat poison. Thank you for that, Michael.
Different vibe on this, Michael. I think for Texas to go in there, it's not unimportant that Texas go into a game like this as the favorite. And by God, play like a favorite. When the game is over, go have the rest of the world saying, Texas is what we thought they were. The thing about the win over Alabama a year ago was it validated Texas by and large from a mainstream populace that didn't think or believe that Texas had it in them. Keep in mind, go back and look at the Orange Bloods' predictions for that game last year. Only one guy on the Orange Blood staff picked Texas to beat Alabama. And I changed late. If I'm not mistaken, I might have even changed the day of the game, my official prediction. Because I was looking back through the thread and it was like updated. And so I know that I changed my mind. It would be it's not. Look, Texas is going to have a lot of games this season where they're a prohibitive favorite. They've got to learn to win that way. They've got to become the team that no matter where they play, you take on the best and you deliver your performance. You play to your standard. That's the next evolution of the Texas football team. I don't want, if I'm Sarkisian, I'm not worried about the rat poison this week. I'm worried about the rat poison next week. What does it look like when they play UTSA, or what does it look like when they play Mississippi State? Are they feeling so good about themselves that they allow a Wyoming type performance to creep into their system? That's the rat poison. This team knows that they need to win this game. They're not taking anything for granted. They know. They've been thinking about this game for 9 months. The Texas coaches now have it in the players' heads. We've been working on Michigan plays without even knowing it for the last month. This isn't the game that you worry about Texas sleepwalking through. It's not. It's next week. And I don't mean that as to say that they could lose next week. I just mean next week they're number 2 in the rankings and they got some first place votes. And then the Wyoming game happens and it's 13-13 at the fourth quarter. I'm telling you, this is what's really, it's incredibly important that Texas go into the game this weekend and play like the number 3 team in the country. Play to your level. Make Michigan suffer because they can't. And don't worry about anything else, because the rat poison isn't for games like this. Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick never have to talk about rat poison the week the Patriots play Patrick Mahomes, or the week that, you're either playing a Tom Brady or a Peyton Manning or Aaron Rodgers. That never happens. There's never been a coach the week in the NFL when you're playing one of those teams where it's like, hey, I really need to worry about my team not even being focused. That doesn't happen. They'll be ready. Will they play well? That's what remains to be seen. But go flex, young men. Go to Ann Arbor, flex. Show the country how good you are. And then the next week, take a much lesser team as seriously as you take Michigan. Because that's the real challenge for teams like Texas. It's never, I shouldn't say never. It's rarely play up against a big name opponent, especially on the road. Like, you live for those games. It's play like the number 2 or number 3 or number 1 team in the country next week when everybody's patting you on the back because you did beat Michigan. And that's when focus and rat poison comes into play.
Michael, thank you for that $4.99 super chat. To Naman, rat poison usually creeps up against Oklahoma. Naman, you need to look up what rat poison means. That's not at all what rat poison is about. So make sure you understand what we mean when we say rat poison. I don't know that there's rat poison to the degree of a victory or how much you're supposed to win by. But Catch, I thought when Sark said the words dogfight this week, I think it showed you where his focus is and where the team's focus is. If this team honestly believes they're going to go win 55-10, that's insane. That's complete insanity. This team needs to know exactly what they're facing, and I think they do. And because I disagreed with you when he laid out that resume for Michigan, I didn't think he meant it tongue-in-cheek. I didn't think he meant it as any kind of weird shade, or he couldn't figure out a compliment for this team or whatever. I think they respect the hell out of Michigan, and I think they know exactly what they'll get into. You're right. It's ULM and UTSA where you have to worry about letdown because you're not playing Michigan anymore. That's the rat poison stuff.
Just to be clear, I didn't think that Sark didn't have respect for this team. What I said on Monday was when he spoke to the media on Monday, when he did his hyping of Michigan, I said subconsciously, I don't even think he was fully aware of it. Otherwise, I don't think he would have done it.
Right.
He mentioned the past. He mentioned, we can't take this team lightly. They've been to 3 straight college football playoffs. They've done this. They've done that. Like, this is a proven program. All I did was point out what he didn't say was just turn on the film of their first game. That's all I had to do. He didn't speak of the overwhelming challenge that they think Texas will have to battle this week. He didn't frame it in the prism of this team with this quarterback and this coaching staff and this group of players. He pointed to, in general, this is what this program is. And all I did was point out that subconsciously he was pointing out things that this program had done past tense, not did do this weekend present tense.
No.
That's all.
Thank you for all those chats coming in. If you get us a super chat, it will go right to the top of the list. Barb's has a super chat we will get to right before buy or sell. If you send us super chats while we're doing buy or sell, we'll get to them right after buy or sell. And Brian Jones is coming up at 1:20. Just let me get you a quick reminder about the good folks at Audio Visual Consultations. They are just what they sound like. They're all about the audio. They're all about the video and getting you the best of both worlds. And make sure you let them handle all of it. They can buy that TV for you and get a better deal than you can. All the cool furniture, all the cool speakers set up the right way. Badass movie room for your family. A badass screen in your kitchen. A screen in your bathroom. A screen projected on your house. Whatever you want. 10 screens. Is that the dream? Well, they can do it. NFL starts this week. 4-box screen with YouTube TV, but your screen's too damn small. Go get a big old screen. Let AV Consultations set it up, and you'll be ready to roll. 255-8678. They've been doing it since 1988. You can trust them because thousands have, and they haven't been disappointed. They'll make sure you're satisfied. 255-8678 or avconsultations.com. All right, we're getting ready for Texas and Michigan, obviously. And who was it? Barb slipped in a $4.99 with some nice emojis, too. $4.99 rankings based on previous season equals, well, that's cow poop. You lose, your drop. You lose, you drop. 0 exceptions. Can't lose and keep your rank or be rewarded. Numbers don't lie. People do. UT 42-10.
Wow.
There you go, Barb. There it is. The excitement.
Can I ask Barb's a question?
Of this week continues.
Do we know if Barb's is a man or a woman?
I assume a woman. We've never asked.
Barb's, you don't have to tell us. But I've assumed that as well, Chad.
Right. I hear Barb's. I think like, a badass Barbara. It's Barbara.
I agree. But what if it's not that and we've just assumed that? I just want to know, Barb's.
Could be
male or female?
Could be a guy that's known for extreme fighting with barbed wire. And the guys call him Barb's.
That's what,
right?
Yeah. Chad, now you see where my head is.
There it is. Okay. I hadn't thought of it. Had not considered it. Barb's, please let us know if we can help. Look at that. Oh, here it is. Man, tweeted at you earlier. Okay. All right, Barb's.
See, this is the pressure that comes with being me. I'm
that.
Expected to remember things that I have no chance of remembering.
You asked the right question. Well done. Well done. All right, Barb.
Apparently, I didn't ask the right question. Now I've got Barb's all mad at me.
No. Now I'm saying now you've asked the right question, and now we know officially Barb's is a man. Just like we asked Jacko.
Oh, I thought that said, man, I tweeted at you earlier. But that was man hyphen.
Yes.
I tweeted at you earlier.
Exactly. No, it was a normal. I think it was nice.
Barb's gave us the answer. I was like,
exactly. We get this chat in from Chris. The only hesitation I have is we talked this same way before OU last year, but I still have us by 21. There you go, Chris. Well done. See, you almost walked yourself to it. Then you stop. You realize what this week is about. You slammed some more burnt orange Kool-Aid and you said 21, baby.
That was very much the Dumb and Dumber, just when I think you can't do anything worse than what you've already done, you do something to completely redeem yourself.
And totally redeem yourself. That's maybe the best. That's so many good scenes in that movie, but that is definitely one of the best. Mark sends this 22. Texas didn't finish games. 23. They learned how to win. 24. Texas needs to win from the opening kickoff. All right, that certainly would help in Ann Arbor. Early lead. Catch, I said it on the Outsiders last night. An early lead for either one of these teams, these kind of games, is so big. Like a 10-point lead one way or the other, especially for Michigan early, would be big to get the crowd believing and all that kind of stuff. But on the opposite side, catch a 10-point Texas lead, you might scan that crowd in Michigan and it might feel a little bit like College Station last Saturday. Like, do they know for sure they could chase 10? Do they know for sure they could chase 13? What if Texas is up like 17-7, late first half, early third quarter? Does a Michigan fan know they can chase that down? Because I'm not sure if they do.
They don't. Michigan fans think that they're going to win the game this weekend, Chad, but they think they're going to do it, quite frankly, the way teams historically would punish Texas, right? The expression that I would always use, teams want to take Texas into the deep waters, and then in the fourth quarter, they drown them. That's what Michigan, that's their pathway to winning the game. That it's even-ish for three quarters, and then in the fourth quarter, champions, which Michigan is, champions drown the opponent at that point. Mm-hmm. What they're not thinking is it's a race, 500 meters in the ocean, and then going into the fourth quarter, Texas is up by 200 yards. They're not thinking we're going to swim faster and catch up and pass you. There's a style of how they have to accomplish their win. I think Texas has more ways of winning this game than Michigan does, which is why I've been so confident this week in picking Texas to win the game.
Yeah, there you go. And by the way, speaking of, I heard your official prediction on the Prize Pick show. We'll get you to throw it out here if you like. Before that, Jory says Chad just had recent PTSD from the Aggie game and refused to admit that Texas was likely to win. Anwar was right. A very tiny bit of hyperbole on his part. Jory, if you don't know me by now, that is not how I operate. That is not how I think. Please don't ever think that I tell you anything about Texas and my opinion of Texas, and it has anything to do with either me being an Aggie or the way the Aggies are playing. And for the record, I have not said Texas is losing. I am picking Texas to win this game. If that has not been clear to everybody, I'm picking Texas to win. I just think this talk of a slaughter is silliness. And I don't know why a team that won by 3 touchdowns at home, only gave up 10 and gave up 9 rushing yards is getting 0 respect from most Texas fans. I don't get it. They're being treated like garbage. I don't think they are. That's the only point I've made this week. But you guys are in your parade route, and I don't want to get in the way. You're having a great time, so go ahead with 52-10. I just be ready if a football game breaks out, because I think y'all are going to have to win a football game. Y'all are talking about silliness to me. That's all I'm saying.
Pete, Chad will dance like a monkey if you pay him to.
I was going to say that needs to be a super, especially if now that we know Barbs is a man. I mean, come on.
Pete, all I'm telling you is this can happen, but we've established that it really needs to come in the form of a super chat. That if we just start giving away the Lou Holtz bit for free, then we're just a whore that no one's respecting.
It's fair. Fair, Pete. All right. And Pet,
Julia Roberts had respect. Why? Because yes, she took money to sleep with men, but she had morsels of respect that those people other than Jason Alexander's character had for her.
Ooh,
by the way,
yeah,
that was very dark. That part of Pretty
really
Woman.
was. Oh yeah, that's one of the scenes of that movie that I think is one of the best scenes because it's so dramatic. But God, it makes me hate Costanza. Like every time I see it, I just, oh my God, it's icky.
It's like, the writers are like, you know what we don't have enough of in our prostitute movie? Rape.
It's like, whoa, easy.
If Julia Roberts isn't in that movie and maybe it's anybody else, I wonder how darker we view that movie. Because it is Julia Roberts in it. It's almost impossible not to think of that as almost like a fairy tale movie. But, we do kind of gloss over the whole attempted sexual assault part of that movie.
See, I always assume, what's the name of her friend? Is it Kitty?
Cat, wasn't it?
Cat, not Cat.
Kit?
Okay. Kit. Sorry, we combined the two names. Yes.
Kit.
Here's what I always imagine, Ketch, that if it was Kit in that hotel room with Jason Alexander, Richard Gere would have walked in with her pulling the knife out of his stomach and there'd have been just blood everywhere. Like, I think she'd have shanked him for it. Just my thought.
I just think in the 80s, we had such a loose, think about, now we're going off the rails. Is it 1 o'clock? It is.
It's 108. 108. Brian Jones in 12 minutes.
We're due for some off the rails talk. One of my favorite movies as a young kid was Revenge of the Nerds. But now that I'm an adult, I can't overlook the fact that Betty gets raped in the moon tower or whatever they called that thing, the inflatable moon. And they took it from go into the sorority house and plant cameras and look at them all naked, which again, sex crime. But then later on, is it Lewis? Wait, it's Lewis. What's the other nerd's name?
What's this movie? Oh, is this Revenge of the Nerds?
Have you never seen Revenge of the Nerds?
God, no.
How have you never seen Revenge of the Nerds?
Probably some of the stuff you're talking about, but I've just never seen it.
Well, no, it's only in the modern day where the woke have woken up.
Right. No, I
can't really watch Revenge of the Nerds and enjoy it because of the constant sex crimes that are occurring.
Yeah, I just had a sense of it, Ketch, growing up a nerd myself. I had a sense that this was not the most pro-nerd movie for
it's pro-nerd.
I just wasn't going to see the movie. No,
it romanticizes the idea that Lewis, I think, right? Lewis Skolnick. That Lewis can put a mask on and make love to the cheerleader because she thinks it's someone else. And then after the consummation, he takes the mask off, and guess what her reaction is? Like, this is what happens. Guess what her reaction is?
80s slapstick excitement?
You are so good. Like, why haven't I had sex with more nerds?
There it is. There you have it.
And men will watch that movie and be like, hell yeah!
Good Lord. Oh, man. All right. Before Brian jumps in, you want to do buy or sell here? What are we doing?
Let's do buy or sell. We'll do it fast.
All right. What do you first or second?
I'll go first to ensure that we go fast.
Okay.
Let me just pull up my captions.
All righty.
Restream's doing this thing where it's being a pain in the ass. Okay, here we go. Buy or sell number 1, Jaden Blue. More than 17.5 receiving yards on Prize Picks is money in the bank on Saturday.
I will buy. I heard you say it on the Prize Picks show. I did make it a part of a Prize Picks for the weekend. So yeah, I like that one.
To quote the great Buford T. Justice, Sheriff Buford T. Justice, there's no way that Jaden Blue rushes for or receives less than 17.5.
Now that you've done that, he'll have 14. Way to go. Way to go.
Buy or sell number 2. DJ Lagway is starting at quarterback for Florida this weekend. The glass case has been broken, and Florida better start winning or else.
Buy, and buy. Absolutely. And that A&M at Florida game was already going to be interesting, but if those two teams meet up in Gainesville in a couple weeks, Catch, that really could be a game for survival in the SEC. Not in terms of each coach being in trouble, not that, just the team and the way we think of them. That could be a battle for, are you even kind of relevant in 2024? Because the loser of that one will be buried, capital B.
In our Orange Bloods poll, I voted Florida the highest in the SEC at 13.
2.
4 others voted Florida at 14. Alex Dunlap voted Florida at 15.
What would you make the line right now of A&M at Florida? What's the line of that game?
Texas A&M -4.
I was thinking 4.5, maybe somewhere in that. Yeah. Field goal-ish. I agree.
All right. Buy or sell number 3. It surprises you to know that I ranked A&M higher in the Orange Bloods power poll than 5 other Orange Blood staff members.
I'll buy that because, just playing the odds, 5 other people. But I also know who those 5 people are, and y'all all dig Aggie Tears, so I probably shouldn't be.
But I ranked them 9th.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. But it's like, if I really go down all the guys, and
I actually ranked them 8th, actually.
You know what? I'm going to sell, because as I think of each of those guys, they enjoy Aggie Tears even more than you do. And that is hard to do. But I think each of them likes to really get on the Aggies, maybe even more than you do. So I'm going to sell and say, of the group, I think you might be the most sensible when it comes to A&M.
That may be true, but it is untrue that they enjoy Aggie Tears more than I do.
Yeah, you're right. Only Chris Bennett enjoys them more than you.
I don't think anybody truly enjoys it. It's my sadistic side. I
think it's actually a 3-way tie, and y'all just move around. It's you, Chris Bennett, and Kyle Umlang. The 3 of you really enjoy them.
The thing is, I have to hide it. On some level, and I don't always do a great job of it, but
sure.
Deep down, there's some sadistic thoughts going through my head. Buy or sell number 4, it's Xavier Worthy's NFL career starts tonight. And he gets in the end zone tonight against the Baltimore Ravens.
Ooh, I definitely like the prize picks on the yards over the more for him. I like that one. Yes, I'm going to buy. I'm going to say he gets in the end zone. They will scheme him up. I'm going to say it's like a red zone kind of a, crossing route kind of a deal.
All right, and finally, buy or sell number 5, and I'm with you. I think he gets into the end zone tonight. Mm-hmm. But then again, I'm pretty pro Xavier Worthy. It's a prime on prime hotter then.
All right.
Earlier in the week, I think it was either this week or last week, I did the whole Heather Thomas versus Heather Locklear.
Yes.
You went Heather Locklear.
I did.
So this is can I pick someone to beat Heather Locklear?
Okay.
Fair enough. It's a man's game. Okay.
All right. Here we go.
Prime on prime hotter then.
Prime on prime.
Jennifer Conley, hotter than Heather Locklear.
Sell. I'm still going Locklear.
Wow.
I get 80s hair. I get the 80s.
You love blondes, don't you?
I get the vibe. I get the blonde. Plus, again, it's hotter than, and that character in 90210 or Melrose Place, whichever one it was, that character was just 9 layers of hot. I have not seen Jennifer Connelly do anything that's that hot. She's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Jennifer Connelly is gorgeous, but hotness, I'm going to go with Locklear.
Okay.
Staying with Team Locklear. Team Heather Locklear.
Wow, you did that easily. You didn't even
It was easy.
Didn't sweat over that. Okay.
Yeah.
It's your turn.
There you go. I'm gotten a couple people agreeing with me on the chat as well. All right, Catch. Let's start with the football stuff. Buy or sell number 1. Most catches and touchdown catches for Texas this week. Bond. Most receiving yards. Gunnar Helm.
The hell are you talking about? Sell.
No?
How the hell is Gunnar Helm going to have the most receiving yards?
Did you not see? The man had the best yards per catch of the whole team last week.
I do like Gunnar Helm. It's like plus, it's more. It's like 20.5.
Yeah.
I think if you do that one on Prize Picks, you might be sweating until fourth quarter. but I kind of, it's not my favorite play, but I do like the Gunner helmet 20.5 receiving yards. That might just be 2 catches. I think 3 catches probably gets him over that mark. So he doesn't need high volume to hit that, but no, he's not going to have the most receiving yards on the team.
Who's your most yards guy?
I've got Bond across the board.
All 3. Okay. Interesting.
Although, look, it kind of depends on what I kind of feel like Texas will move Bond around and that they won't have Will Johnson shadow Bond. If they do, then it feels like Matthew Golden or even, I mean, you could pick any of those Texas receivers as 2 or 3 option that could have a monster game by them attacking a secondary target. But I think Bond's going to get some matchups against non-Will Johnson players, and I think he's the obvious answer. Touchdown catches, you never know. I mean, a week ago, that was golden. So it could be that he's not the guy in the red zone, but I think he will be the guy between the 20s, and I think he'll have a big game.
Before we get done, I'm going to tell you the prize pick I did with Silas Bolden, see what you think of it. But first catch, it was unveiled earlier, but I just want to make sure I get you on the record. Buy or sell. You agree with Anwar. Michigan has no chance to win this game.
Sell. Again, I don't know what the percentage is, but there's a percentage. It's not 0. It's double digits. I will say that. I don't know what it is, but it's double digits.
There you go. All right. Buy or sell number 3 catch. There are 2 U.S. men and 2 U.S. women in the semis at the U.S. Open, and you can name one of them. 1 out of the 4.
Well, Coco lost.
Coco did lose. It's not Coco. Come on, catch.
Here's the thing. Does this count? I'm pretty sure of the 2 U.S. men, one is a white guy and one is a non-white guy.
That is true.
But I don't know their names.
All right, fair enough.
Do I get any partial credit for?
We'll give you partial credit for.
I can see them.
Race imagery. Yes, we'll give you a little partial credit for that one.
But I can't name any of the women, so it's a sell.
So tomorrow night is the men's semi. Taylor Fritz taking on Francis Tiafoe. And then tonight,
you're giving me $1 million and 24 hours and a Google search, and I wouldn't come up with those names.
Tonight, Emma Navarro and Jessica Pagula will be in their separate semi.
I'd be so mad if you played the catch. Name one, and I'll give you $1 million. Do you know how upset I would be? Because you could give me 24 hours. And I would not have been able to name any of them.
No, there you go. First time since 2003 that 2 men and 2 women have been in the U.S. Open semis from America. Crazy.
Not all right. Jimmy Connors. No.
All right. Thankfully, it's not that far back. Buy or sell number 4 catch. Michael Keaton turns 73 today. You don't care if it makes you seem old, but he's the best Batman ever.
By slightly over Christian Bale.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
You didn't know Batman could be neurotic until he did Batman. And then it was like, oh, because people didn't like the Michael Keaton choice. I remember that. I was a kid. There was so much excitement for that movie, but there was so much doubt about whether Michael Keaton could pull it off or not. And then when he did, it always felt like nobody could quite live up to Michael Keaton as the Batman, which is quite the irony given how that thing unfolded.
All right. Best of luck to this next guy in the booth this season. Colt McCoy is 38 years old today, catch. If the young ones are going to watch one game to understand how great Colt could be, they need to watch the 08 OU game, 45-35, Texas.
That's his signature game. I think his Ohio State performance is a little underrated.
I was just about to say him and Quan against Ohio State. That was a pretty good game.
Mainly because just watch the 4th quarter and you could get all of the pieces of Colt that when he was at his best, how good he was. But, the game that you hang in the Louvre is the OU game in 2008. And I don't know that it's even close. Like I think that game's It'd be easier to pick Vince Young. You could go USC, Michigan. Those are the two games. Watch them, and you get Vince Young, and you could then go, boy, but the Ohio State game, but Colt. It's 2008 OU, and there is no other game as far as I'm concerned.
I think you're right. I might die and it still be the best Texas OU game I've ever seen. Like 08 Texas OU is just such a silly good football game to watch. All right. Speaking of silly good, we usually get a little of both when we talk to this guy. We get some silly and we get some good. And he is Brian Jones of CBS. We told you CBS 230 is Iowa State and Iowa. And ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we've got a little bit of a different perspective this week. Check out Sexy Santa, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
What's up, Brian?
Yeah, I ditched my nice setup here because I couldn't get the damn Bluetooth to work. I think I have Tourette's.
But your background is black now.
Is it?
You painted it.
What's wrong with that? What you got against that? Why can't the background be? You want it white?
No.
You want the background to be white, Cat?
Hey, we had somebody ask
what?
yesterday.
I can't hear you. What?
Hey, Brian, we had a question. We had a super chat question come in after we ended the show yesterday. And it was for Chad and I. And it was like, buy or sell. Both of you guys at some point of your life have experienced jungle fever. And I said, not only is the answer yes, but my virginity went bye-bye over some jungle fever. I'm down, Brian. I'm
down. You didn't stay down, though, did you? What you meant?
Well, story of my life is getting back up.
Oh, my God.
Well, I got all types of fever. I don't know. I've never been one to discriminate. 8 to 80, blind, crippled, crazy. All can't walk, I'll carry.
Brian would buy them by the pound if he could.
That's it. That is it.
There's too many nice flavors out there, man. Well beyond Neapolitan. Come on, give me all of them.
Brian walks into Baskin Robbins and says, just 31, huh? Whatever. Whatever.
Exactly.
All right, Brian.
Wait. Stop, damn it.
All right.
Michael Keaton by far. And it's ironic. We just had this conversation in the studio the other day. Me and some of the researchers said Michael Keaton. And Catch, you're right. I recall all the controversy surrounding Michael Keaton being chosen as Batman, and he nailed it. He was great. He was smooth. He was a man of few words, yet he was intense. He killed it. But the favorite character in all those Batmans, come on, Jack Nicholson as the Joker. That dude, I mean, and you are my number one. When he flipped the Jack Palance on his guy, oh my goodness. He was liberated, as he said.
He was a spooky ass Joker. He really was a spooky Joker. There's no doubt about it. All right, Brian, let's get your reaction to 52-0. I mean, we can talk about some other stuff, but come on. Your Longhorns came out against Colorado State and they smacked them around pretty damn good. What'd you think?
Nothing more pleasant than getting a goose egg on the scoreboard in your first game out. That was impressive. That was not what I expected. Expected to play well, but first games, man, it takes a little while to get in rhythm because you're used to certain speed. And I know all your mannerisms, Mr. Teammate. I know your rhythm. I know your gait. I know everything that goes with that. But it's challenging, especially those first few series when you get out there and now you're going against a different speed, guys that are well-versed in what they do, and you have to figure it out, although you've practiced and attempted to simulate in practice. But it was impressive all the way around. That was fun to watch. They left no doubt we're the better team. Things to fix. Of course, there are going to always be things to fix, even in blowout wins. The interior line is going to be tested this week. It's going to be straight downhill, smash mouth football. And I'm looking forward to them being tested because they weren't that much last week. So Mr. Collins, what number 15? I can't recall his name. You guys know better the roster better than me, but I need to work on his stance. A little bit too much squatting. I need a little bit more lean so you can get off on the snap count. But sacks, which is fine. They still made their presence known. Those guys can't get nosy. Make sure you man the corners, the edges. You got contain, because when Orgy's in there, he wants to run around. So just make sure you take care of your business and then become a football player. But all in all, it was very impressive. Offensively, the same thing. The running yards will come. I think you're going to see an approach that we witnessed a year ago in Tuscaloosa. And that's what they're going to need. There's going to have to be a balance in this ball game. And Texas has a ton of speed. Michigan was built thanks to Ohio State being bludgeoned by Ohio State for all those years. So they had to upgrade their speed to go with their ground and pound. They've done that. Their defense flies around. That's going to be fun to watch that whole matchup. They got D linemen. They got guys at the second level. And, of course, in that secondary, Will Johnson and the other guys can ball out. But Texas did everything you want to accomplish in the first ball game and get a W and no injuries. And I don't believe there were any significant injuries in that first ball game. Now it gets better as far as the competition. It gets more intense, and this will be a snot bubble game. So get ready. There are going to be some licks laid in this bad boy, and that's exactly what you want on the road.
Brian, this is going to sound weird, so make sure before you just don't overreact at the beginning of this.
All right.
But I was laying in bed last night, and I was thinking of you because I put on the 1990 Texas-Houston game, and I was watching the first half of that game. I didn't make it all the way through. I fell asleep. But I remember about midway through the first quarter, I was like, hot damn, man, Brian was good. I was like, you forget because you're an announcer now. And it's been, I don't mean for it to say it's been so long, but it's been a minute. And I was like, Brian's was really good. And he really was into that game. Then I started thinking about the Penn State game from earlier in the year. And I just wondered, is there anything about, because I think that is one of the great kind of forgotten games of that 1990 season. It's easy to remember the ones that came later, but I felt like that maybe everything that happens later doesn't quite happen if you guys don't win in Happy Valley to start the season. And I just wondered, it's apples and oranges. These two teams, 1990 and 2024, they don't start in the same places. But is there anything about that game that you think translates to Texas going on the road at Michigan this week, all those people, and just are there enough similarities that we can talk about it?
Well, one, that is not the first time those words have been uttered in a bedroom about me. Damn, Brian Jones is good.
I told you not to freak out.
I didn't freak out. I was like,
hey, yeah.
Who knew I was going to hear that from a man too? I mean,
all 31 flavors and half the men in America. Who knows? We don't know.
Let's just get this straight. I don't swing that way. All right. Okay. Nothing against those that do. That's their business.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Just keep it over there. That game set the tone. And I know we had a break, and then me personally played one of the worst football games I've ever played in my life. The next game versus Colorado. But going back to that Penn State game, you're correct, Ketch, because that helped. We already believed. We knew we were embarking on something special. You could just tell. Things had changed that offseason, spring ball into the fall camp. But winning that game, and that was a physical-ass football game. I think I've shared before. They ran the opening kickoff down to about the 2. First play is ISO, me and Sam Gash, who played a long time in the league, fullback, and they had Leroy. What was Leroy's last name? Thompson at running back, I believe, and he played for the Steelers. Stinger, first play of the game, whole side goes numb. But that was the type of game. That right there, that first play let you know what you were in for. You don't run to the sideline. You stay your ass out there, and you shake it off in the 35 seconds they give you, and you go again, even though you can't feel half your shit. you know, and so I think they scored maybe 2 plays later. But that set the tone for that type of game. We had some big stops defensively on 4th down in that ball game, but it was a physical affair, and that's what this is going to be. But that helped build the confidence, even though we lost our next ball game out, and there were a ton of mistakes in that one, and I made my fair share. But that, you're right, Kat, set the tone. If you can go on the road in a physical affair and win in the manner in which we won, you're confident, but that ratchets it up a whole nother level. You still have to stay humble. So going into an iconic place, Happy Valley, now the Big House, and they're the defending champs. You're still trying to climb that mountain. Texas hadn't accomplished a damn thing. They won a conference title. You got to the CFP. Did you win? No. So you haven't arrived anywhere. I get to go into the backyard of the defending champ, although it's a different team. But I'm going in their backyard. It's an iconic venue. That Block M is such as that Longhorn head. You just need to see that. Both of those, and you know what they represent. So this is a hell of an opportunity. You love ball games like this on the road. And Cam Ward, that's the objective, to shut up the home crowd, dude. I don't know if you saw his comments. He's like, that place wasn't that loud because you were kicking their ass. That's why it wasn't loud. What is you, ignorant? That's what you're supposed to do. Quiet the damn joint. So if you can go in the Big House and quiet that joint, man, I wish we were there. We're going there in a couple of weeks. I've never been. I can't wait. We're going to have the SC Michigan game, and we'll be there live. But, yeah, dude, that's what it's all about. And this could be the catalyst, Catch. And I know it was a long way to get there. But, yes, this could be the catalyst to propel you for the rest of the season, because this is what the SEC is. What you're facing, and they faced it. A lot of these guys faced it at Bama. But this is it right here. This is that type of game. They want to pound your ass. They're going to hit you in the mouth. And then they got some speed to sprinkle in, too. And this defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale, same scheme they've been playing. All the guys prior to him, they were pulling from his schemes. So they haven't changed anything on that side of the ball. They're going to hit you in the mouth. Get ready. Enjoy it. Embrace it. Because if you get a W here, that can help be the catalyst for the rest of the season. Yes, sir.
Brian, I'm going to get to the next question by.
Were you in bed when you thought of the question, Chad?
No, this is going to come from a super chat.
Were you naked?
And not me in bed. Jamie,
did you have matching draws and bras?
Jamie with a $4.99 super chat. Thanks for coming on, BJ. Such a treat. OB Live is lucky to getting him. Yes, we are. We are very lucky to get Brian every week. And we appreciate him doing that. Brian, here's the question somebody threw us. Paul for $9.99. Thank you, Paul. Wants to know. I want to know what BJ's immediate inner monologue was thinking, listening to Neuheisel say Sark was building Alabama in Austin.
Paul Sudakowski. That's a cool last name.
Mm-hmm.
Much more interesting than Jones. Listen, Neuheisel, first of all, I'm going to give y'all a little backstory. Me and that motherfucker went at it. He was saying Texas, only reason they back because NIL and they spending all that. I said, hold on, motherfucker. Wait a minute. Let me talk about my horns. We ain't have to go out and buy shit. We don't spend all that money everybody else spends. We spend our allotment. We spend some, but we just go into that portal and dibble and dabble. And I had research that said, pull up how many transfers Texas lost and brought in this last year. And they lost more than they brought in. They brought in 12, and this is the most they have brought in this new transfer era, if you will. But usually they just go fill a few voids here and there. They're not making wholesale changes, the point I was making to a Neuheisel. And yeah, they're going to play in this NIL sandbox, such as everyone else. But for you to say that only reason they're back is because Sark has spent goo gobs of money, nah, that's a false narrative, brother. Nope, that is not how they built. They built it how the Blue Bloods do it, which is the traditional way: high school recruiting, development, and then we'll go get a few here and there. As Ohio State did, they got a lot of few here and there with their $22 million. So, but Sark has had magnificent recruiting classes. So that was the point I was trying to make. As far as him saying he's building Alabama, yeah, and we've known that. When he first took over the job, he said this roster needs to be reimagined. And he found out fairly shortly after taking the job, hey, we're going to be headed to the SEC. So it behooved him to build it, such as the beast in the SEC, Alabama, the Georgias of the world, inside out. And that's how they should be built, no matter where you are in the trenches. But you got to have the wherewithal to find those big barbecue pit bodies, D linemen, and there's a ton of them here in the South. So yeah, that's how he's building it, and that's how he should have built it. But that wasn't that statement wasn't earth shattering to me. I said it to you guys a year ago when I was at that practice. We look like the SEC. We built like the SEC, and so yeah. So that's how you have to do it. They have ruled the roost. The SEC has as far as winning national titles. So you build your team in that manner so you can go get you a few of those titles.
Paul, thank you for the super chat. Catch?
First of all, I just need to say that the lighting that Brian has, Chad, have you noticed that it looks like he's wearing
too dark?
It looks like you have an eye patch like a pirate. So like one of the sides of the glasses,
he just ran him off,
is clear, but the other side looks like he's wearing a pirate patch. It kind of looks cool.
It does, huh? I'm gonna turn on some more lights.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Jones's backdrop.
So I do have a question when he gets back that has nothing to do with the fact that he kind of looked like a pirate for a second.
Is that better?
Yes, it is better. I can see both of your eyes now as opposed to before.
It's always something with me. Boy can't get right. Always something. Damn.
But who was thinking about you in bed last night? Just remember that. No matter how bad it gets,
hey,
your Q rating is still very high.
I recovered. I'm ready for round 2.
I asked Chad this question last week, I think. So I wanted to ask it of you. Buy or sell, we will see another linebacker at Texas wear number 60 before our lifetimes end.
Damn, I hope not. I'm the last one to have it as their primary number. No, I wouldn't hate on anybody such as that. Dude, if a cat comes by that's worthy, and this Anthony Hill kid can flat out ball. I'm going to say no, man. They've retired it. It's going to stay retired, just as VYs and Colts and Earls and Ricky. So no, nah.
Okay.
What we do need, though, in that Ring of Honor is a linebacker, because Novus is in there as an offensive lineman. He's not in there as a backer. There's no way in hell Derek Johnson shouldn't be in that Ring of Honor.
It's never going to happen.
Why not?
They've said that the only way that it can happen is if you win one of the National Player of the Year awards. So it's only ever going to be a running back or a quarterback.
No, he won the Butkus. He
Doesn't
won
matter.
the Nagurski.
That's not a National Player of the Year. That's just
That is national. Award. That's national.
Brian, you know what they're doing? They've been keeping defensive players down for years. It's just another way to do it. This is another way the man keeps defensive players down. Doesn't give them a National Player of the Year. Pitiful.
That's the Nagurski, Butkus. Those are National Players of the Year at your position.
That's like the Doak Walker.
And he's in the College Football Hall of Fame. Is that not national enough for you?
I agree. They're dogging you.
I'm just saying. I'm not you just said no one's ever going to do it again. So,
Brian,
I said no one's going to do it 60.
With that. Yeah.
What?
Brian, kind of back to the question somebody was asking about Neuheisel. I don't want to make this just about Neuheisel, but for you this week, are you a little surprised at some of the not just Texas wins, but the Texas wins easily discussion? I'm picking Texas to win, but I think this is absolutely a Big Ten phone booth kind of football game. But I'm hearing a lot of Texas fans, and I'm hearing some national media also saying this is a boat race. Texas is going to smash, Michigan. That whole theme of the week. What do you think of it? And are you in the category as well?
No, I tend to be a little bit more conservative because you have to play the damn games, man. And I've been burned thinking we were better than this team and Pop Warner. It happened in high school. And so you can't, I don't fall into that, even though I'm not participating. It's just something that's been built into my psyche. Michigan's going to come to play, and everyone's basing things off of what we saw last weekend. And I went back and watched the game film. We were watching the game in the studio while we were watching our game, but I went back and watched the game film. A better quarterback beats Michigan last week. Mikey Keeney sucked. Let's just be honest. The transfer from UCF, his ass was bad. He should have stayed on the bus because there were guys open. He couldn't hit him. He missed a guy wide open on a fade route that would have been a touchdown if it's just didn't have to be put the lotion in the basket pass. It just could have been your garden variety freaking fucking pass, and he couldn't make it. And so a better quarterback beats them a week ago. Maybe everyone's basing their prognostications off of that and this being a thumping. What?
Not a lot of people remember that in Silence of the Lambs, Buffalo Bill was watching a lot of college football. Not a lot of people.
Dude, that's my go-to. You've never heard me say that. Oh shit! You drop a dime. That's you. Listen this week.
Put the lotion in the basket.
That's what we got Iowa State now. That's what Rocco Beck was doing last week. The first two passes. Put the lotion in the basket.
Ryan, put the lotion in the basket.
That shit is so funny when he says.
Anyway.
I did not mean to. I distracted you with my laughter. I apologize.
Yes. For the record, anybody out there who has not seen Silence of the Lambs, not a comedy, ironically. It's not a comedy. Do not go watch it thinking it's a comedy, please.
That movie bothered me for months.
Yeah.
There's something about it. I was sleeping with the lights on for about 2 months after watching that. But that's my go-to, man, when you throw a sick pass. Anyway, better quarterback. Didn't have to be perfect. You beat Michigan because their defense balled out. But Michigan's be better. And you guys have heard it. You know the coach speak, the biggest improvement week 1 to week 2. Or your ass get more exposed in week 2. It's going to be one of the other. And Michigan will play better. They've got a pretty green offensive line going up against a green interior defensive line, even though Alfred Collins, those guys have some experience, but they haven't been everyday starters. So I could see why, based upon the big plays that were missed and the mistakes by Fresno State, and yet they were still in that ball game, why people were thinking this could be a thumping. I think Texas can win the ball game. Their speed should be, at some point, overwhelm Michigan. But what will actually overwhelm is what happened in Tuscaloosa a season ago. They ran the rock when they needed to run the rock. That's going to be the key. Be able to run the ball, and everybody's going to be focused on that with the attrition at that position. So they've got to be able to run it when they need to.
I have no more questions, Chad, other than to say the first time I saw Silence of the Lambs, I think I was 16, and we watched it at McCallum High School in our driver's ed class.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah, we watched that.
You watched that in driver's ed?
God, it'd be great if right in the middle of that movie, somebody parallel parked perfectly and we all missed it. But the teacher was like, no, watch right here. And then they just go on.
Don Caldwell, one legendary McCallum basketball coach, just happened to be the driver's ed teacher. And we watched Silence of the Lambs in class.
Do they even have driver's ed anymore? Because these people cannot drive. I don't care where the hell I live. People camp out in the fast lane. Get your ass out of the fast lane. Let those of us that like to drive fast in the fast lane. And what's up with everyone's got to please be patient, student driver? Bullshit. Ain't that many student drivers out there on the road. They just throw those on their car and baby on board. Well, let the freaking baby drive. Okay? Get out of my way. Okay, I'm done.
Wow.
I'm glad he was able to get that out of his system.
Really, yeah. I think so. It felt like it needed to process.
You guys are cathartic. I got to do this show more often.
Yeah.
This is like therapy for me.
Brian,
once a week.
Well, Brian, tell me this, because I think differently about this than some people do. The people in the left lane doing what you're talking about, it drives me crazy too. But I get more upset the better car they have. Like the more powerful their car is in the left lane.
Yeah.
Most people get mad at the small little cars. They get mad at Priuses and stuff. I don't. If you're in a big ass like Dodge truck, or you're in a Vet, or you're in something that's badass, and you're in the left lane going like 45, you're disrespecting your car.
Thank you.
Why did you buy that thing if you're not going to drive it? Drive it.
That's what my ex-wife said. You drive too fast. I bought a fast car so I could drive it fast. That's why. Okay?
Right.
Get out of the way.
Shocker. The sports car was going 50 in a 20. Surprise.
Yeah. Let the dog hunt. Let the dog hunt. Why'd I buy a Rottweiler? Because it looks badass. It's a Rottweiler. I didn't buy a Rottweiler because I think it's a Yorkie. I bought a Rottweiler. Let's go. Come on.
I'm good, Chad. I'm good.
You're down. Your Aggies ran into a Rottweiler.
Oh, we almost got there. I was about to say goodbye.
That bullshit. He couldn't hit a bull in the ass with a palm full of rice. I've been carrying the water for the dude. I fucked up this morning on the radio shed. My Aggies. I ruined my Thursday. I said my Aggies. See what y'all did to me?
Brian, I was about to get out without mentioning it, but I mean, dude.
I had to wash I did a Cameron. I went and sat at the bottom of the pool for like an hour.
The question is, did you see Sloan undress in the process?
Wait a minute. You went to the bottom of the pool because Wegman played bad, or because you said my Aggies?
Because I said my Aggies. Fuck Wegman. I said.
Okay, I'm just checking. I wanted to check in on you.
I'm worried about me now, not him.
That's you. Okay.
Where'd that come from? Who is
He went and sat at the bottom of the pool.
Oh my goodness.
I tell you what, Brian, most of the Aggies I know felt like they needed to go sit at the bottom of a pool too after Saturday night watching that offense.
And your defense. York played his worst game. I went and watched that film. What was he? He was getting smacked. And this is an O-line that lost both tackles, I should say, to the NFL. They lost replacements. They just pieced this O-line together, and they were pushing your guys around. You guys couldn't set the edge. They were running around you. They were running through you. One play, going back to your offense, the right guard tackled your back. Like, get out of the way, fat ass.
That's not how it's supposed to work. That's not how it's supposed to
No,
work.
it's not how any of this works.
I thought that's how you built up like scar tissue. Occasionally, the offensive lineman has to tackle the running back. That's not true.
It was a counter down as he was supposed to do. And then he came or something, and he ran right into the back. Get out of the hole, lard ass.
Hang on, let me write that down.
Goodness.
Offensive line.
Yeah, all the way around. There's enough pain points for your Aggies, offensively, defensively. But were you there? Because that atmosphere, just knowing Aggie land, that was cool.
I was not there, but it was. I mean, that part of it, everything was fantastic up until the kick for the Aggies. So it's not great. Not great.
I'm gonna go sit back in the bottom of the pool. I still can't believe I said that.
All right. Well, I think you'll be forgiven. I think you'll be forgiven for that. We will help to try to.
I'm trying to forgive me for that.
Blame it on me, Brian. Blame it on me.
No, it's me. Well, you might have something to do. Too much affiliation with you. Yeah.
Just say I what's the word? Fraternize. Say occasionally I fraternize with an Aggie. I talk to an Aggie every week and he messes with my mind. Blame it on the cult. Blame it on mind control.
Fair. That is fair.
Yeah.
That's you're right. You're cold. I messed up and said fish school, and my buddy who's an Aggie scolded me. No, it's fish cult camp. I mean fish camp. Yeah. I was like, dude, my bad.
I wish if they called it fish cult camp, it'd be awesome.
That would be so much cooler than just fish.
God, it'd be awesome if that's what they did. But Brian, to be fair, before you were hanging out with me, how much did you do this? How much did you do this? Right? Like
I've been doing that since I was a kid, going to the games.
I'm trying to blame it on me, but you're not.
I'm always like that. The best part though is your band when they get in that little tight little arrangement or alignment, and they don't How do they not run over each other? That is so cool.
Yeah.
I love everything about y'all except for y'all.
And that's fair. You know,
I need that embroidered on like a pillow for Brian's face. Brian's face with a helmet on it just says, I love everything about y'all, but y'all.
Trademark that. Somebody will steal it.
That's a good trademark.
Anybody steal my Let the Baby Drive, I want my cut.
Yeah, that's good.
All
the
right,
baby,
damn student drivers. That's what DJ Uyunglele should put on his helmet.
Ooh.
Student driver, please be patient.
Oh, God.
Hey, Brian. First person I haven't heard say DJU in weeks.
Brian, speaking of working
on Tennessee's new quarterback.
Oh, speaking of missed wide open receivers, how about what DJU is throwing out there right now?
The boy was born under a bad sign because that was ugly. What the hell? And he's so mechanical, and we've discussed it. There's a reason Jonathan Smith didn't take him to Michigan State. Now, his quarterback, Aiden Childs, I've been high on his ass, and he looked horrible in their opening win. Maryland should be able to beat them this weekend. But that SC game, SC and LSU, both of those defenses are better. There was some hard licks taking place in that bad boy. That's a good football
game to watch.
I think our game's going to be great. I think Iowa and Iowa State, this back, he's launching projectiles, man. He's phenomenal. And that, what is it, Abu Sama the third, the running back, 24 for Iowa State, he's got some moves. And Iowa then this newfangled offense with those tight ends, nice hands. They're good, man. Sorry, took too long on your show. Apologize.
No, it's okay. It's okay. 2:30 CBS. It's Iowa State. Brian, are they going to hit the over? That's the question. It's like 35.5. Are we hitting the over on this game?
We went, myself, New Heisel, and AT, Aaron Taylor, we went round and round on this. Because they usually get, what's it, usually like 20 points is the scoring total in this ball game. I'm going to say they get over.
There you go. All right. I hope so. That would be a lot. I think that'd be a little more entertaining to watch than some of the
What's wrong with a good defensive battle? That's entertaining to watch, as long as there's not a ton of mistakes.
That's true. That is true. We'll see. We'll see what it looks like.
That is actually a good game to watch. It's actually a fun little. There's always like weird little things going on in that particular matchup.
Yeah, good rivalry.
Yeah, like such as Iowa offense actually having shifts and motions and things of that nature. They've grown up. AT is going to point that out Saturday, so I just gave it away. But we were just crying, laughing at their film. They motioned to an empty set. Oh, Iowa. Wow, welcome to the 21st century. Damn, where you been?
They call that an exotic.
Yes.
The tight end goes in motion. Exotic. That's what they call that.
I'm using that one.
There it is. Brian, we always appreciate it, man. Safe travels. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Hook 'em, by God. Stop dreaming about me, boy.
Impossible.
Impossible. Can't do it. Can't do it. Got to dream about Brian Jones a lot of the time. Thanks to Brian. Again, Iowa State in Iowa City is the CBS 230. So you'll get a nice CBS 230 coverage of the Children's Hospital and the deal at the end of the first quarter and all that cool stuff. One of the best traditions in college football right now. One of our best traditions, this place, Hayes City Store. If you haven't been over there, get over there. They've got screens if you want to go watch a game out there. Maybe you go check out Texas and Michigan. Then you head out to Hayes City Store. Maybe you go on Sunday to celebrate the beginning of the NFL. Whatever it is, have one of their great burgers, have some of that great wood-fired pizza, have the incredible enchiladas. The truck stop enchiladas are legendary. You can do all of that. The drinks are incredible. 40 beers on draft from around the state of Texas and around the country. You've got the frozen margarita flights if you want to do that. They have incredible whiskey drinks. They've got great vodka stuff. They've got it all for you, and just some of the absolute best food out there. Chicken fried steak, can't go wrong. And again, their cream gravy is just out of this world. It's that the gravy is good enough to send you out there for. That's what kind of place Hayes City Store is. There's your QR code. Go see them out there in Driftwood between Kyle and Wimberley. All right, so we've got Brian Jones coming on, being Brian Jones. We do have a couple of super chats. I think maybe one super chat to clean up, a couple super chats to clean up. First off, Tracy just wanted to thank you, Catch, for answering a question. There you go. $2.
I noticed it yesterday. I was like, oh, Tracy had a buy or sell. I tried to answer it in the chat.
Thank you, Tracy. Thank you very much. South End Zone Queen
for breaking my duck.
I think I just talked over you saying her name. Would you like to say her name again?
I did not say her last name.
Oh, fair enough. $1.99 from South End Zone.
Go to my high school, so like,
okay,
I feel like I'm safe.
You're good. Tourette's Takeover Thursday. That can happen sometimes, South End Zone Queen. Sometimes that happens. And then this was our other super chat, thanks to Darkborg. $9.99. Is this Michigan team better than 04 Michigan? It feels like this Texas team is better than 04. Logic dictates one outcome. Wow. Darkborg, that is some dangerous football math, but we'll play the game. Catch, this Michigan team is not better than 04.
No. That 04 team, Chad Henne at quarterback, Braylon Edwards at wide receiver. We know how that duo looked in the Rose Bowl. He had Lamar Woodley on. It made it kind of a push on defense that the talent wasn't, Michigan's strength is in their defensive line, and maybe it was at linebacker back in 2004. But that Michigan team played with a future NFL starting quarterback at quarterback. And
right.
Yeah, they were better.
Yeah, and don't forget the star of that game for Michigan, Steve Breston, who almost won it all by himself that night. Still one of the most amazing performances I have ever seen in my life in special teams. He had all-purpose. He was at 250 that night.
He had a crazy night.
It was dumb. Darkborg, thank you for that memory. That's the only time. Chance Mock talked about it last night. The last time Chance Mock wore a Texas uniform was that game, the 04 Rose Bowl. It's the only time these two logos have ever gotten together, helmets have ever gotten together. Never had a regular season game until Saturday, and that's what makes it extra important. And Catch, from the discussion we're having today, Brian had a little bit of it, I think, in his conversation. You said it earlier, but the litmus test that this is for Texas cannot be overstated, because these games are designed to show you where these teams are. We're not to conference yet. That's why these games are so cool. USC beats LSU. LSU fans are kind of, they're dejected. They're down. USC fans are riding high. Georgia fans riding high because they beat Clemson. It'd be different if it was just some garbage non-conference. Yeah. This is Texas's chance. Like you said earlier, it's Texas's chance to really establish we're not just here. We are here, and we are an SEC team. Everybody needs to understand it. Everybody get ready. We went physical in T-Town. We'll go physical in Ann Arbor, and then we're going to get ready for an SEC schedule. It's a huge, huge moment for them.
It's as simple as that. Yeah. Yes.
All right. We are headed towards, almost at 2:00 here. Let me make sure we got all the super chats in, Catch. Anything else that we need to hit? Did you say, okay, you mentioned Lagway in a buy or sell. You said everything you need to say there. Did you want to make an extra comment on Lagway or not?
I'm good.
You good? Okay. Thanks to everybody who jumped in the chat. We'll just throw up a couple other quick scores. There's a 38-28 and an LFG. And then Pete wants to throw in a 21-point Texas win. Pete, I hope you're right. 38-17.
The post-game show. We're going to get thousands of dollars in super chats if that's the score.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I really hope Michigan fans have to eat something like that in this game. We shall see. All right. Thanks to Brian for joining us. Coming up this afternoon, Football with Friends at 6. And don't forget, if it's Thursday, what does that mean at orangebloods.com, kids? Say it with me. War Room. That's right. It's coming out tonight. If you're not there, get there. Get signed up. orangebloods.com. Every Thursday night, it's War Room night. So War Room before Michigan, that is tonight. Tomorrow morning, I think Anwar is going to be traveling and not doing the old-fashioned show. Is that true, Catch? He's getting out of town early, right?
Correct.
Got to
no
catch a plane.
Old-fashioned in the morning.
No old-fashioned tomorrow. So we will be with you, though, noon tomorrow.
Come get some at noon.
Come on at noon. We'll have the Scottish guy for you about 1:20 or so, previewing the game, and we will obviously continue to do that and get ready to throw all those crazy scores at us tomorrow, especially if you think Texas is going to win like 80-0, because those have really made me smile throughout the week. Real quick, before we get out of here, let me first on those orangebloods.com. Make sure you check that out. Make sure you get there for the war room. Also, make sure you get stocked up at Specs. Here's Lisa.
Specs same-day delivery can save the day with our Specs app or online shopping. From world-class wines to hard-to-find spirits and craft beers to gourmet foods, delicious snacks, and spectacular sweets. It's Specs. Cheers to savings.
Lisa and the Specs Rabbit, if y'all could tell the Elgin location to set aside a bottle of Deep Eddy vodka in the lime flavor. I ran out last night. I'm going to have to get over to Specs and get stocked up. Everybody have a great rest of your Thursday. Again, Football with Friends coming up at 6 o'clock this evening right here on Orange Bloods Live. Until tomorrow, we are house divided. Y'all take care of yourselves. See ya.